everyone in this room will have their genome sequenced by the end of the decade. DNA sequencing is a done deal. The big question that remains is what to do with all this information. Access to your DNA is going to be the biggest worldwide behavior changer since the internet. When we do sport, we're presented with a huge number of options. How fast, how far, what kind of exercise should we be doing, even though we know exactly what we're trying to achieve. And the fact is that what works for one doesn't necessarily work for all. You might have a friend who runs 3 times a week, loses loads of weight, and you do the same thing and lose nothing. Well, it turns out that genetic variations have a profound effect on the way that we respond to exercise. So how do we use this information? What we don't want is to be told what sport to do. What we do want to know is what's the quickest route to arriving at our sporting goals. The second thing that we don't want is to have to adapt our entire lives around a training plan. We want a training plan that adapts to us. Genetrainer is a service which provides genetically guided fitness advice, including a training plan that stays up to date with you. If you have a personal trainer, then this can get the best out of you. If you don't have a personal trainer, it'll give you a plan. You simply select your goals. These can be things like losing weight, increasing your endurance, or just general physical health. And then you connect your DNA, and this is really, really cheap and easy now. It costs now less to sequence your DNA than it does to fill your car with gas. And it's really as simple as spitting into a tube, sending it off to the lab, and a couple of weeks later you have your access to your results. So, in true style LeWeb, we'll go to a demo. And we're going to log in as Patrick, who's been using Genetrainer for a little while and has been trying to lose some weight. So the first thing you see is your training plan, which has been generated using your DNA. Simply click on a day, and you'll see the exercises that are recommended for you. Genetrainer can also learn from how you found the exercise. You also have access to a dashboard where you can find a whole load of metrics which will help you follow your progress. As we can see here, Patrick has been successfully losing weight. These numbers are also a really, really nice source of motivation. Adding a new metric to the dashboard is as simple as connecting a new device. And as you can see, once a device is connected, it can stay updated to Genetrainer. Genetrainer is more than just a training plan. You also have access to a whole bunch of information around injury risk, diet, sleep, and much more. So for example, on this page, we can see the risk of tendon injury, including some advice on how to prevent it, such as specific strengthening or flexibility exercises. So to go back to the slides, this is all based on, grounded in scientific research. So actually, Genetrainer was a spin-out from the bioinformatics group at the University of Bristol under Professor Goff, who is our scientific advisor. We build a profile based on all the variations that are associated with sport. And these variations are actually documented in published peer-reviewed scientific literature. The great thing here as well is that when a new gene or variation is isolated, and this happens very, very often, it's added to Genetrainer, which constantly updates and improves your results. Genetrainer doesn't provide genetic testing, but is compatible with all major providers on the market. There are currently 300,000 people who've done DNA tests. A recent $50 million investment in the US company 23andMe has resulted in them lowering their kit price to $99 with the overall goal of reaching 1 million users this year. And we have access to those users through their data API. So the great thing here is we're combining the DNA, the training goals, and all the information from these connected devices, which gives us an opportunity to provide a quality of advice that we simply couldn't do before. And of course, this is really contributing value to the preventative medicine and the quality of life enhancement market, which is a big upcoming part of the overall general health market now. So we would like to announce that we are launching in beta today, but we'll be launching publicly in about 6 to 8 weeks' time. And this will work as a subscription service. So it's a one-time payment, and it's free after that for life. So the team, a quick view of the team behind this. So I'm ex-Google product manager. Patrick is Capgemini engineer. We have Julian in the background somewhere here who has been doing research at Stanford, Cambridge, LMB, not far from here in Pasteur in the past. Sports consultant from Australia, and our two graphic designers, Livio Bondi and Charlie Zeno. So thanks for listening, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Do you want to join them for the Q&A? I can do. We might have all the expertise here at once. Excellent.
So I have a first question on, the way you present it sounds great. You know, you read my DNA, now you know everything about me. You're going to give me the best advice. Can you give concrete example of the pattern or things you're looking for in the DNA that can really influence the way, the programs that you're recommending to users? So, for example, if you take two different people that have the same goal, how, same age, same weight, same size, how different really are the programs going to be? So what is going to be the influence of the DNA on this program versus just having a personal trainer who's going to recommend you things the way it has been done in the past?
Okay, so the first thing is that even if your goal is very similar and you're the same age and so forth, there are a whole bunch of different ways of actually doing specific exercises for that goal. So for example, I could give you an example. You could have something like a cardio-based exercise. Or within cardio, you've got long endurance over a period of hours exercise, but you also have stuff like interval training, where you really push your heart very, very high and then come down and so forth. And we do find signals in people's DNA that give us information about which one of those they would respond best to, even though they're actually contributing to the same goal, which is endurance. Does that clear it up?
But to what extent is the DNA more relevant than the history of the person? So, for example, you take someone who has been running for 20 years, has been doing interval training and want to progress. Yeah. The same person, can take his brother, very similar DNA. He hasn't been exercising for 20 years. Don't you think that the history of the person is going to have more influence than the DNA? I'm just trying to understand.
No, definitely. So in fact, if you're an athlete, you have a very, very good idea of what works for you. And this is one of the reasons why this product is not directly aimed at athletes right now, because you know what works for you. But if you're your average guy who actually kind of wants to just find the quickest possible route and hasn't got that history, then this is a very, very good start.
What you've just asked is the classic nature-nurture question, which you may have heard of, and you need both.
Both being the history and the DNA?
Yeah.
Okay.
And in terms of pricing, one thing which was surprising to me is you mentioned that you want a one-off price, which then I assume is going to be pretty high because you need to support the user over, hopefully a long period of time. If this service is sticky, which is what you want, why don't go with, like most of these services do, with a recurring pricing model? Because then you can actually, just from a business model standpoint, it's a much better model because it's more predictable. Yeah. And then for the user, the entry barrier is much lower because you will going to pay 1/20th or of the price up front to get into it and try it.
Okay, so first of all, the price is not actually going to be very high. We're looking at somewhere around £50 or $79. And secondly, the important thing is that the more people use this product, the more we can learn from it. So we do want people to stay on there, even if it comes at an additional cost over time. So in other words, if you have a reasonably low initial cost and then free after that, you can keep people on the platform rather than...
Yeah, but you as a business proposition, how can you make money out of that? If I sign up today and I'm signed up for life, then you never monetize.
Well, there are other ways. For example, you can monetize the product, right? Every time a new device is added, you can direct people to that device. So if you find something that really, really works, it gives very, very valuable information to our product. So for example, there's a new scales that comes out that measures a whole bunch of useful stuff. You can direct people to that product, and of course, you'll make a reasonable commission on every single sale. The other thing you can do as well is to offer upgrades, such as, for example, if you wanted to do a specific marathon pack for somebody running a marathon that they could upgrade to over time. This is
The-
the
The other thing is that as the genetic science advances, and there are far more contributing factors coming out of the science, we can charge to add or upgrade the contribution which the DNA is making to their package.
Yeah, but I agree, but you should still consider having a system of monthly fee as well, because why not? I'm be ready. I mean, I use Fitbits and stuff like that, and I should do some more exercise, right? But when I look at this, it seems really appealing. So I'm be okay to pay something monthly and a lower cost, and then these advances you just mentioned. I mean, you'll just they will just add it. I know because you actually pitched that you want to put this inside and learn about me, but the science that you will learn about the whole subset of people plus external research, you will also input this. So I would be ready to pay, and I bet people would be ready to pay on a monthly basis for that, and not just once. I'm just a bit concerned that if you scale, you'll have at some point a problem with revenue, because if they pay once, I mean, buying a scale and doing affiliates, you'll get like 10% of a scale, but I don't think that's a very scalable business model.
Okay, well, at the moment, nothing is set in stone, right? Price is definitely not.
I mean,
set in stone.
I
We
would
are launching
agree,
beta.
because I think a recurring, if you think 79 or whatever your 70 pound is cheap, what about £3 per month, right? That's much cheaper, and as an entry barrier, it's I think it's much lower. So if you think that for £3 a month you can actually sustain a user and make a profit, because a user is not free. I mean, you have the cost of the server. You have customer support. You'll need to have some emails to answer questions, etc. Get user to the right place to get their DNA. So you're going to have costs that are going to be recurring. So you want your business model to be aligned with your cost structure.
Yeah.
So I would think hard about it.
And good advice for you all to ponder, and thank you very much for your presentation.
One point.
Very quickly, Roberto.
Come to see me on Friday. I actually like it.
Okay.
We like those kind of outcomes, those kinds of questions. All right, thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Okay.
Congratulations on your competition. All right, so our judges will now retire to do a little collaboration and ranking of the companies they saw, but thank you very much for your questions and your feedback. Paul, Philippe, and Roberto, it's great to have you here with us. Thank our judges for their great contributions. And thank all of you for staying with this process throughout the day and being a great audience. We are now aggregating all of the judges' scores across the day. We're adding that to and taking into consideration the online feedback that we got using the QR codes throughout the day, along with the internal team's contributions. We're going to balance it all out. The winners, the finalists will be notified, I believe, later tonight or first thing in the morning, and they'll present tomorrow at the end of the day in the general session. So that is it for this phase of our startup competition. Thank you all very much. Thanks to the staff and to all the companies that presented for making this day go so smoothly. And I'll see you tomorrow afternoon with the 3 finalists. Thank you. Thank you.